Hickory Dickory Dock, the man with the magical cock. Y'all cannot tell me that Bill Clinton is not hung like a reticulated python.
Not a chance. Fuck up with the big beast boy. What? Absolute tank. A reticulated python. Ooh.
You cannot convince me that this man's penis does not taste like salted caramel wrapped in milk chocolate cheesecake with a buttercream filling. You cannot convince me otherwise. That's why he hated Hillary so much. Because Bubba wouldn't leave his wife for him. He was like, nah, man, that's my family. You knew what this was. Okay? But baby, I love you. You knew this was a hit it and quit it. This is a one-time thing. You said you wanted to taste it. You got a taste. Now leave me alone. Now, in a world where conservative Christians, okay, did not beat the drum of bigotry and hatred so loudly and so repeatedly, this probably wouldn't even be news. No one would give a flying fuck who he was sucking on, whatever, behind closed doors. No one would care. But that's the double-edged sword of bigotry, isn't it? But please leave Monica Lewinsky out of it. I know Donica Lewinsky and Donica Bluinsky or whatever. I know it seems funny. He got to go on being like the commander whore in chief. But she had to leave to go to the UK just to have a chance at a life. And I remember when, let me see that song. I love Beyonce. Don't come for me, or do. I don't care, because I stand on what I'm about to say. Remember that line? He Monica Lewinsky, oh my girl. Oh, they daddy. Okay, so she said in an interview in the past, I remember how much that brought up for her. Because remember, she was like 22, 23. And as much leeway as we give people when they talk about how young and dumb they were in the past, for some reason, when it comes to like sexual indiscretions and women, we don't get that. Right? So I don't understand why she's the poster child for, everybody that slept with Bill Clinton. Apparently, it's probably way more people than we think, men and women, whatever. I personally don't care that they're blowing each other. You would think they would be more fun, right? But like, how are we bringing her name back into it? She doesn't have anything to do with this. Like, let that woman live. Like, she finally got her life back. She's got speaking engagements. She's got a life outside of this thing that happened, and it's almost like she will forever be, maybe it's too late, but she will forever be stuck with it. And it does seem unfair that this is like that she can't escape it. But if half of us had to be reminded of some of the decisions we made when we were in our early 20s and have our entire life be defined by that, how would you like it? But this is something between two men, and y'all are using her name. These are two dudes. They were getting it in allegedly. This is alleged. But it's y'all dragging a woman into it. Leave her out of it. We don't have anything to do with this. No woman does. You know what I mean? Leave women out of it. But everyone keeps saying I hate this timeline, but maybe this was a detour the country needed. Not his presidency, but just to unearth and like dig up that nasty, rotten soil of bigotry and toxic masculinity and all of that, to dig it up and do away with it. Because every time people say, you know, that's not who we are, when we talk about racism and misogyny and bigotry of any kind, you're denying the pain of like millions of people. You're lying, you're living in a fantasy world, and you're just kind of telling on yourself that you've never faced it, or you've never been brave enough to because that's part of the foundation of this country, and it was never properly dealt with way back when the treasonous separatists tried to secede and cause the Civil War. Like, that stuff was baked in and then validated when there weren't charges filed, when people didn't face consequences of their actions. And now January 6th has happened and people have been pardoned. So once again, the treasonous separatists, the hateful people are getting away with it, and they've been unleashed into immigrant communities on Black and brown people. The consequences of not doing justice got us here. If we can expose the bigots and their hypocrisy and do away with the rotten soil that keeps growing more and more of these people and these movements, then maybe that will, in the long run, be good. Maybe I'll die before the good is achieved. Like, it won't be in my lifetime. Hopefully it will. But who knows? But maybe this time people can face the consequences of their actions and behavior, and we can become the country that we've always claimed to be. I am a former Navy sailor. I served this country, and the feeling of betrayal that runs so deep in me when I see Pete Hogsbreath, you know, a former drunk weekend news anchor, talk about DEI and podcast bro talking points like warrior spirit and all that BS to well-trained military professionals, and he's standing there talking down to them as if he belongs, as if being an alcoholic gave him the skill set to run the Department of Defense. But all the Black and brown people and women are DEI. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Look at you. Look at yourself. Your mediocrity isn't the fault of brown people and women. That's on you. But whatever. I do think it's fun to laugh sometimes at these people, but it's embarrassing, and it's planting a different seed for more rotten fruit to grow. But that's why whatever happens, these people need to face justice in the end. And I started out light, but those are my real thoughts. Like, that's where this all leads to for me. Like, every time I start thinking about what's happening now, I think about the past and the future and how you can see that we've always been on our way here, right? Maybe, I don't know. But I know we'd be in a much better position if y'all had elected the black lady and stopped lying on that woman and calling her unintelligent. The former prosecutor is not unintelligent. And I remember them talking about her debate performance. She was prepared. You know what's crazy? So was Trump. They both had debate practice and debate prep teams. Both of them. And look at his performance. You can't even teach him how to do right and sound intelligent. But y'all let these bigots trick you into voting for that person. And he is unworthy of the office of the president. So you can burn your caps, you can burn your hats, but you still wear the stink of the decision that you helped make. Those farmers that are filing for bankruptcy, that's on you. And the farmers themselves who are now filing for bankruptcy that voted for him, especially the ones that voted 3 times, you got yourself there. Because you knew what he did the first time. But you voted that way anyway. And I don't think that my tax dollars should in the future go to bailing you out of your bad decisions. Y'all voted to not feed kids while they're in school. You grow food, but you don't want to share it with low-income children. You don't deserve my empathy. Those kids do. So I don't want my tax dollars to go to you either. But we've got to learn that we are all Americans. And I'm going to do something on that. I have a story about that. It's kind of funny, semi-embarrassing from when I was active duty Navy on my first ship on the USS Tortuga, Sasebo, Japan at that time. I think it was moved to San Diego since then. But anyway, that's a different story for a different post. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. And I hope this week things get better, whoever you are, wherever you are, and whatever you're going through. And if you're already happy, then I hope that it continues that way. But if you voted us into this situation, I guess I hope you learn from it.